If you really want to know what makes it go, what takes it high or sends it low down, well, you can work it out if you just learn about the way things work. If you really want to know how it can ride or bump and jump or glide and slide, you ought to take a little look inside the way things work and watch the thingamabob that turns the knob, that makes the jigger jig, that turns the thingamajig, that pulls the trigger, that makes the digger dig. If you really want to know how it can fly without a wing or string to tie with, you find the same simple rules apply with the way things work.
Over the years, many a ship has run aground on the Mammoth Island sandbanks. They had to dump their cargo overboard in order to make their way back to deep water. Olive and Troy are looking upon the sandbanks and mudflats that are exposed at low tide as a fantastic source of materials for their many projects. Personally, I go there for the bird watching.
Look at this spool of wire, Troy. Is this fantastic or what?
And look at all these old tools. We've got a gold mine.
More like an iron mine.
Come here, you two. I think I heard the call of some exotic shorebird.
We'll be rich! Rich! We'll be rich! Rich!
I think I've heard that one before. So what are our dads up to this time?
Sit, boy. That's it. Great! Let's have the big one!
Frank and Pilbeam appeared to be on some sort of fishing trip, and by the size of the rod they had harnessed to their poor, overburdened mammoth, it was clear that they had a very large catch in mind.
Fishing with magnets? What's that all about? I've heard that fish are meant to be rich in iron, but this is ridiculous.
I don't get it.
Well, Troy, I think Olive is making light of the fact that iron, along with steel, which is made from iron, has special magnetic properties. Allow me to explain. A magnet is surrounded by an invisible force called a magnetic field. Every magnet has a north and a south pole. When a magnet comes to magnetic material, like Pilbeam's horseshoe magnet and that iron, the iron is magnetized and attracted to the magnet. They stick together with a powerful force, which all suggests that your fathers are fishing for something made from iron.
1, 2, 3. Bullseye! Hey! We did it! Now, pull, mammoth, pull! Looks like we definitely got something! Uh-oh! Run! That was a close one. It nearly got our dear old mammoth.
Their next job was to try and get their magnet off the rail. This was more difficult than you might expect. There must be a better way. You all right there, boy? Frank and Pilbeam decided they should fashion their surplus horseshoe magnets into strap-on mammoth shoes, in the hope that they stick to the steel instead of slipping. This, I'm afraid, produced the opposite result. The shoes on his hind feet stuck fast together, while the shoes on his fore feet were propelled away from one another.
That poor
What
man.
have they done to him?
I'm afraid the shoes were at fault. On a horseshoe magnet, The North Pole is found on one side, and the South Pole is on the other. When the two magnets come near, they can have one of two effects on one another. Opposites attract. So North Poles attract South Poles, and South Poles attract North Poles, creating, in this case, a powerful magnetic bond. Whereas poles of the same sort repel each other and, in the low-friction environment of a mudflat, send each other flying. Are you all right there, Mammoth? Can you get up?
I'm afraid there's a lot of work to do.
I've seen enough. That poor mammoth needs our help.
And soon. Troy and Olive finally decided to come out of their hiding place. Olive helped the mammoth out of his soaking wet harness, while Troy went to work building a clothes dryer for it. He propped up the railway track onto some old driftwood, and then, to keep the clothes from touching the rusty rail, he wound the wire he'd found around and around it in a coil.
That ought to do it.
Troy and Olive were just about to hang up the mammoth's wet harness when something truly remarkable happened.
Whoa! Ah, my bag!
Hey, watch out, you!
What happened?
Troy, did you throw all those bits of metal junk at me on purpose?
It weren't me, Olive. Honestly, they just flew out on their own.
And where did they end up?
It happened just as the lightning struck. It all flew straight at the end of this iron track, as if it were some kind of powerful magnet. But look! Nothing.
So what happened?
Well, it looks like you just made an electromagnet.
Pardon me?
Allow me to explain. The important part of the electromagnet is the wire wound into a coil. When an electric current flows through the wire, the current creates a weak magnetic field around it. But when that weak magnetic field is multiplied by the high number of turns in the coil, you see, a very strong magnetic field is created. The iron bar in the middle helps to concentrate the field. When the current flows, the bar develops opposite poles at either end, which attract iron and steel objects. Frank and Pilbeam were so pleased at the invention of a magnet they could actually switch on and off that they soon brought down an electricity cable to power one of their own. But this apparatus was even heavier than the giant horseshoe magnet had been. This isn't really working, is it, Pilbeam?
Are you all right, Dad?
Never better.
Cool.
Not only is it cool, it might even be useful.
How do you mean?
Well, surely we can make something out of those spinning magnets, like making them power some kind of machine, maybe?
Of course, what Olive had happened on was the principle of the electric motor. Different types of electric motor run either on direct current, DC, from a battery, or alternating current from mains electricity. The AC motor is the simplest to understand. An alternating current flows this way and that in rapid succession. This means that every time the flow of electricity in the coil changes direction, the north and south pole of the magnet swap positions. And the electromagnet inside turns to face the other way, again and again and again. And by hooking up gears and belts to the spinning axle, the motor can do some very hard work. One by one, the heavy lengths of railway track were lifted from the barge by Troy's electromagnet, and were lifted and transported by a crane mechanism that had Olive's new electric motor at its heart. Before too long, the great pile of track had been salvaged.
OK, that's all of them.
Hooray! We'll be famous!
And rich.
Rich and famous? How come?
Because we're going to build a new sort of railway.
And what's going to be so different about it?
Oh, well, dunno.
I've thought of some great uniforms.
I see. Hey, you know, maybe those electromagnets and electric motors could power a new sort of train. You know, if you use the magnets to repel each other somehow and put them on the train, you wouldn't even need wheels. What do you think?
That's not a bad idea. What Oliver thought of is called magnetic levitation. A maglev train, as it's known, uses powerful electromagnets to actually raise itself above the track. Freed from the friction with the rails, the train can float along very smoothly and quietly. It's propelled forward by magnetism as well. Coils on the train generate a magnetic field in which the poles shift along the train. The field makes electric currents flow in the rail below so that it makes its own field. The magnetic force between the two fields pulls the floating train along the track.
The 3:15 maglev service is now boarding. Please have your tickets ready.
Hello, Frank. Nice uniform. Glad to see your railway is such a success. Well, I must admit the things you and the kids did with those magnets really helped. Here, I'll tell you what. I'll let you all ride for, how about 10% reduction on our standard fare.
How about for free?
Free? What? Oh, all right then.
All aboard!
So, you two, how does it feel now that your fathers are in the railway business?
Great! And the stations are so convenient too.
Yes, but I don't think your mother sees it quite that way, does she, Troy?
Next stop, Hillbeam Station, ladies and gentlemen. Hillbeam Station.